trains, an older form of transportation. Reportedly, train crashes are more frequent than the greatly feared plane crashes. So here's 4 train ghost stories, from invisible trains to little girls who died on the train tracks. Grab a blanket, turn off your lights, and remember to never ever fall asleep on the train, because you may end up at the final stop, the stop at the very end of the earth. Ghost Train. This story I'm about to tell you took place in a little town in east of Sweden for about 2 months ago. I'm 14 years old, and the time of the day was twilight. To set a scene for you, my father was driving me to my fencing training, a regular Monday evening. When we tried to find a fencing club, the closest one turned out to be a half-hour drive from home. It was turning dark by the time we reached the railway. A train was on its way. We stopped, and I looked out the window and tried to guess what way the train would be coming from. I guessed it would be coming from the left. I was correct. I watched the train pass me by until I looked away for a few seconds. I was surprised to see there was no train when I looked back. I automatically assumed it had rolled into the station or something, but it wasn't there. I looked. Then I saw the train coming from the right. I was in shock and asked my father, "Didn't the train just come from the left side?" He didn't know. I then said, "Maybe it was on the other track." I had shivers sent down my spine when my father said, "There is only one track." The train I had seen before was nowhere to be found. This is kind of weird because I'm one of the few that can see the difference between my imagination and things I actually saw. What do you think I saw that evening? Woman in white, walking train tracks. My real personal account is not necessarily a bone-chilling, fantastic, or unbelievable one. However, it is quite significant to me. It all begins with a local story. I am currently 20 years old, so this happened when I was about 14. Long story short, a local woman was chasing after her son, who had a mental disability. He ran across some train tracks, so naturally she followed him. He made it across safely, but she did not. She died. Forward a few months, and I'm in the car with my dad, riding to my aunt's house. We crossed the same track, but not the exact location where the woman was hit. And I can see a woman walking on the tracks by herself. She is far off in the distance, so I couldn't make out much. However, she is close enough that I can make out a white female with long snow-white hair and snow-white dress. Strangely enough, this occurs in the middle of the day. Now, whether this is the apparition of the woman or just a local, I am not sure. However, after living in this small town for 8 years, I have seen most, if not all, inhabitants, and have yet to come across someone remotely matching my memory. I do have more true stories I'd be happy to share. I can guarantee they are more bone-chilling than this one. Let me know in the comments, and also let me know if anyone else has seen a woman in white apparitions, as I've heard they are frequently seen in various locations. The last train home. It happened about a week ago. I was catching the last train home from my dad's house. It was about 11:15, and I had to stop to change trains. The station I was left at was completely deserted and dark. I was there alone. Or so I thought. The train screen notified me that my train was going to be delayed by half an hour, and so I settled myself on a cold bench. Just my luck. I wrapped myself in my coat trying to keep warm, but something in the surroundings kept making me shiver. Goosebumps filled my skin as I looked towards the track. On the other platform, about 10 meters away, I could see what happened to be a teenage girl, fairly tall and slender. She was perched on the edge of the platform, her legs dangling ever so close to the railway line. Due to the lack of light, I wasn't too sure what she was doing, but without hesitation, she suddenly jumped onto the track. My heart stopped, for all I could see was her outline in a dark shadow. I screamed to her, "What the hell are you doing? The train will be arriving any second. Get off the track." But she didn't listen. Instead, she slowly started tiptoeing along the track towards me. Her face wasn't directly looking at me, but appeared to be looking ahead, as if she was curious of what lied in front of her. My heart was beating so fast, and I was petrified. At a quick, abrupt jolt, her eyes met mine. Her skin was pale white, and her deep-set black eyes were burning through me. Before I could even acknowledge what she was doing, the train screeched round the bend, edging ever so near her. It must have been centimeters before hitting her when she just vanished before my eyes. The noise of the train braking sounded like a girl's scream. All I could imagine was that this was a victim of a train wreck, and now she haunts this station. Has anyone else experienced this before? As I sure as hell know that I was not imagining anything. I saw it. The Train Driver. This is my second installment in my series of supernatural occurrences. My mother, let us call her Mara, takes the lead in this story as she does in the vast majorities of these tales. It is her desire that these occurrences be appropriately documented and explored before she grows old and forgets. Let's begin. This happening occurred in 1962, Belfast City, Northern Ireland. My mother's age at the time was 11 years. She was walking to school one morning, dressed in her first-year secondary school uniform. She was walking along the street known as St. James Place, the street in which she grew up in. While nonchalantly navigating to her school, she encountered a man that she was familiar with. He was a neighbor. She vaguely recalled in her own mind that his name was Mr. Hamill, and that his wife was close friends with her mother. More stimulating to her young mind was more the fact that he was a train driver. She observed his black trousers, dark cuffed blazer, and flat cap. His official appearance sported the logo NI Railways. That is the company title for Northern Ireland's rail service. When the encounter ensued, Mr. Hamill spoke to Mara. He stated the following. "Good morning. Do you know if Maisie is in?" Maisie is his wife. Mara noted that this was an odd question, as Maisie was his wife, and surely if anyone was to know if she was home or not, would it have been him instead? Mara told him that she really didn't know. He replied, "That's grand. Thanks very much." She attributed no lasting significance to this exchange and resumed her day as per usual routine. Later that day, she returned home for lunch, as was the habit at her school. She was talking with her mother, and her mother asked her if she heard about a recent death in their neighborhood. Mara responded in the negative, and her mother informed her that it was Mr. Hamill, who died at 4 a.m. that morning. Mara rightfully reasoned that this could not be true, as she has just met him just before 9 a.m. that morning. However, the death report was accurate. Mara's mother, being very superstitious, had her walk the 2 blocks to the priest's house and inform him of the situation. He simply advised her to pray for him.